Anyone who was alive during the outbreak of the bubonic plague in the 14th century experienced something terrifyingly close to the widespread death and chaos of an apocalyptic event.
When you hear the words triumph and tragedy, the phrase the Black Death doesn't exactly come to mind, but if you look a bit closer, you'll see that this plague was one of the worst and the best plagues to ever happen.
Before the Black Death hit, the Western Roman Empire fell, but then the Catholic Church helped Western Europe redevelop their civilization. This all happened during the medieval ages. During the medieval ages, there was not a lot of information about medicine. This caused many people to have bad health care, which made it easier to get infected with deadly diseases such as the Black Death. From 1347 to 1351, Messina, Italy suffered from the deadly disease, the bubonic plague. Tragically, this ended up being the worst plague in history, killing over a third of Europe's population. The Black Death broke Italy's feudalism and caused many people to have more opportunities. It was also the main cause of the triumphant Renaissance, a period for self-exploration, art, and inventions.
Let's go back to when the Black Death hit. The Black Death started in central China and worked its way over to Europe through trade routes, caravans, fleas, and rats.
According to CNN, the bacterium Yersinia pestis is typically spread through the bite of infected fleas, frequently carried by rats, causing the bubonic plague.
Because of these insect carriers, plague has been passed on to humans with devastating consequences.
The three main trade routes, silk, salt, and spice, were all very popular at the time of the Black Death. They ran through Asia, Europe, and some parts of Africa. The trade routes were various different routes where people could bring goods and trade. They caused a lot of cultures to be in close encounters with each other. This caused the spread of bacteria.
In October 1347, 12 Italian ships en the route from the Crimea region docked into the harbor of Messina, Italy. Most of the crews were dead, and the ones still alive were severely ill.
The Black Death was a 3-year time period where the deadly disease, the plague, had infested Europe. This event did not pass by easily. In fact, it killed about a third of Europe's population. Many different sources have different ideas about how many people, specifically, the Black Death killed. The range seems to be between 25 million and 75 million people. Then, in the autumn of the early 1350s, the weather got colder and the fleas that had the disease started to die off because of it.
There are 3 forms of plagues in humans: the bubonic plague, the septicemic plague, and the pneumonic plague. The most common form is the bubonic plague. Its name comes from the buboes, which typically develop within a week after an infected flea or animal bites you. The buboes are commonly found in armpits and around the neck. People that have the plague also get fevers and feel extremely weak.
Francisco Petrarca was alive during the Black Death. He had written journal entries about it. They described that he was scared and that there was no way to avoid this deadly disease. I observe about me dying throngs of both young and old, and nowhere is there a refuge. No haven beckons in any part of the globe, nor can any hope of longed-for salvation be seen. Wherever I turn my frightened eyes, their gaze is troubled by continual funerals. The churches groan, encumbered with biers, and without last respects, the corpses of the noble and the commoner lie in confusion alongside each other.
During the Black Death, Europe's economy crumbled. Food prices dropped, rent got cheaper, and people got paid more. This all happened because there were fewer people to feed and pay. This broke Italy's feudalism, which was a form of society that Italy lived in. This system divided people into 4 different categories: kings and queens, lords and ladies, knights, or peasants and serfs. People were stuck in their place in society.
The Black Death broke this system and gave many people more opportunities. The poorer side of society thought that this was a great time to make more money. Since there were fewer people to work, some employers were paying triple to get people to work for them, as it states in the Chronicle of the Black Death, which was written during the time of the Black Death. Such a shortage of workers ensured that the humble turned up their noses at employment, and could scarcely be persuaded to serve the eminent unless for tripled wages. The Black Death was an extremely terrible event for Europe and its economy. However, it was good for certain people who survived. The people that survived got to experience the revolutionary Italian Renaissance. The Italian Renaissance were a period in history in which people were beginning to become curious about the things in life. They were thought of more as individuals. It was truly a revolutionary time.
According to dailyhistory.org, the Black Death led to a great questioning of the old certainties. This led many, especially among the urban elite, to use reason to understand the world. They also increasingly turned to the classics to find answers to the problem of life. The new spirit of inquiry helped to ignite the Renaissance.
During the Black Death, the Catholic Church was extremely popular. It had so many followers, and people were devoting their lives to it. However, during the Black Death, people left the church because they could not cure the disease and thought that praying would not help them. This caused many people to search for self-exploration. People were trying out the arts, inventing, and different things that advanced our worlds. Another thing that people did during the Renaissance was advancing medicine. The Black Death truly impacted so many lives in both positive ways and negative ways. During the 14th century, the Italian Renaissance had started, and many people had changed their ways of life. During this time period, many great inventions and ideas were created. Many revolutionary individuals were born and raised during the Renaissance.
Leonardo da Vinci was an amazing inventor and artist who was born during the Renaissance. He was famous for his studies, and he started dissecting and studying bodies during the 15th century, which grew our knowledge of medicine. Leonardo was not the only one who started something new during the Renaissance. There were also blueprints of parachutes, violins, thermoscopes, and scuba diving gear from other people as well.
The Renaissance came to an end in the 16th century because, according to History.org, Spanish, French, and German invaders battling for Italian territories caused disruption and instability in the region. The Renaissance may have ended, but this event truly influenced history. It tragically killed 30 to 50% of Europe's population during the time it lasted. However, it also brought many new ideas and inventions throughout the Renaissance and caused many people to have more opportunities by breaking Italy's system of society. You can hate it or love it, you can mourn it or thank it, or you can see it as both a triumph and a tragedy. Something it truly was.